What's going on, family? It's your girl, Garuchi Chastity, and today we are going to get started with a rising stretch routine. The first position is child's pose, but before we get all the way in the position, we always want to ease ourselves into the full position. And so we start just by sitting on our feet. And you'll start to feel it in that space between your knees, your ankles, and your hips. And so just don't panic, just breathe. As you'll notice throughout this practice, I typically keep my eyes closed. That way I can feel deeper into my body. And then we have a little bit of pelvis undulation. And so give a little duck butt on your inhale. And as I exhale, I'm going to tilt my pelvis underneath me. And so I'm tucking my tailbone, which starts to flow the synovial fluid throughout your hips. And so you want to gently open up your legs, adding more space in your thighs. And then just place your place your hands one step in front of you, one place in front of you. And remember, just breathe, always breathe. You want to pull your hands out just one step farther because you are getting deeper and deeper into child's pose. And each time you move your hands forward, you want to press your hands away from your body. And so you press into the mat, which allows space for your femur to actually sit in your pelvis. And one final reach up before we place our elbows onto the mat. Go ahead and place your elbows onto the mat, allowing for your fullest stretch here in your inner thighs and your hips. You might feel it in your low back, your outer glutes. Just remember to breathe. And you want to gently come up, always taking your breath with you as you change movements. And so you just want to stretch the front of your pelvis by coming all the way forward, feet together. Gently release your feet. And now we're going to come into up dog. So you want the front of your feet flat on the mat, and you want to lift up, giving you a nice stretch in the front of your hips. You can rock right to left, giving you a nice side body stretch. And we're going to come up into down dog. So you want to engage your core and just lift up. You want to lift your tailbone to the sky. Pedal out your feet if this is your first down dog of the day. Really stretch and open up that chest. Firmly press your hands into your mat. And slowly roll that thing out and come into all fours for cat and cow. And you want to make sure you always have your joints stacked. So you want to go from wrist to elbow, elbow to shoulder. And you want to go from shoulder to hip, hip to knee, and knee to ankle. Right? Make sure you have nice alignment, and you have space, because as you look up, you're going to inhale and drop your chest down, and as you exhale, you're going to press the midsection of your back up into the sky, pressing down into your hands, and relax or go right back into the movement. And what we're doing here is opening up the spine, right? Sending breath through the spine. You see, when you look at my eyes, you can tell the intentionality of what I'm feeling. You can see the sensualness, the slowness. And that's the reason why we're doing this practice here, to feel more deeply into the body. And so everything is intentional and slow movement. All right. So you can come back to sitting on your lower limbs or just find a stable base. We're going to start stretching out our upper body. So you're going to take your right arm and place it behind your head, grabbing your right elbow. And you want to look into your right armpit, which gives you a deeper stretch. Make sure that you keep your heart lifted towards the sky and your shoulder blades in alignment with one another. This will give you a nice heart opener. And gently relax. And we're going to do the other side. And remember, with each position, as you transition, to take your breath with you. So you want to grab your left elbow and look into your left armpit. And release. Gently roll your shoulders to the front, allowing for space in your shoulders before we move to the next position. And now you're going to bring your right arm across your chest, making sure to keep your left elbow parallel with your shoulder. And so what you should be feeling is a nice stretch in your upper right shoulder. And now we're going to switch. I am going to do the left side. And the reason I have changed positions is so you can see the alignment of my shoulder blade. And so when I pulled my left arm over, you can see how my shoulder blades are no longer in alignment. But to get the deeper stretch in my left shoulder, what I am looking to do is to bring that left shoulder blade back into alignment with my right. And that's how you get a deeper stretch. All right, next we're going to clasp our hands or grab your wrists behind you and give the front of your shoulders and your chest a nice stretch. Lifting your heart to the sky is the goal, right? That's how you get the deepest stretch, by sitting all of the way up. But remember, we ease our way into that position. Whatever is the final position, we always ease our way into it by utilizing the breath, right? So you start with where you are, and with each exhale, you allow your body to relax deeper into the stretch. All right, find a nice, comfortable seated position, and we're gonna stretch out the neck. So you wanna hold your head back, hold your head down. You should feel this in the back of your neck. You're gonna look to the right. Now we're gonna look to the left. Bring your head back to center. And now we're going to begin circle rotations to give us a nice stretch in the neck. And what you want to do is draw a circle in the air with your nose. And try to make the circle as smooth as possible. Always being slow and intentional with all of your movements, because we are here to feel deeper into the body. Next, we're going to come into butterfly. And this position gives us a deeper stretch in our inner thighs. And so you want to interlace your fingers and then gently pull them under your feet. And again, the ultimate position of this stretch is to have your heart fully lifted to the sky and be sitting fully erect. But we start slightly caved in to where we can have something to build out the stretch into. And so we're going to use our breath, and with each exhale, you're going to allow your body to relax deeper, allowing you to sit up more straight and fully. And truly use your breath to allow you to unlock parts of your body that you may not be used to interacting with. And you want to gently and easily bring all of your limbs in, come in, take a moment, give yourself a nice hug, and then extend both legs out in front of you. And we're going to do a forward fold. And you want to make sure you hinge at the hips. Hinge forward at your hips. Grab your feet and lift your heart to the sky. With each exhale, allow your upper body to melt closer to your legs, giving you a deeper stretch into your hamstrings. And gently, gently, gently release. And you're going to bring in your left leg for a left leg forward fold. And you want to place your left leg in your right inner thigh, and make sure you press your left foot into your inner thigh. Make sure your right leg is up and it's not just lazily that foot just kind of flays over. No, make sure everything is in alignment, right? So make sure your heel is on the ground, your toes are flexed towards your face, and you're going to gently rotate over your left leg, right, by placing your right wrist on your left knee. And so this is going to give you a nice upper body thoracic cavity stretch. You want to gently come back to center. You're going to lift your arms straight up, making sure everything is in alignment. And you're going to reach your right arm towards your right leg. And you should feel a nice stretch in your inner thigh. And then your left hand that is up in the air, you should feel a nice stretch in your left side body. And so the idea here, again, is to hinge at the hips. You don't want to just hunker over and squeeze, this right side body over. No, you want to lift up from your hips. That way you're getting a nice deep stretch. And all we're going to do is just the same thing on the other side, family. With each exhale, I lift my heart to the sky, which rotates my upper body even more and gives me a deeper stretch in my left side body. And so we're going to do the other side. And so you want to bring your right leg to your inner left thigh. Make sure you are pressing your right foot in that thigh, right? Because that's your anchor point to keep your hips solid and on the ground. And so we're going to rotate our upper body again on this side. And so you're going to take your left hand and anchor it on your right knee. And you're going to use that to press, to keep your shoulders in alignment. The more aligned you can keep your shoulders, the deeper the stretch you'll feel in your thoracic cavity. And now we're going to do the same stretch. You saw that little giggle there? That's because I'm high off of my own supply. You see how I'm making sure that I'm pressing that right leg into that left thigh. And with each exhale, I am rotating my heart ever more towards the ceiling, giving me a deeper stretch in that right side body. You can see how my shoulders are in alignment, right? That's again how you get that deeper stretch. You see I have wrist to elbow, elbow to shoulder, right? You want to make sure you keep everything in alignment, and you want to gently come up. We're going to do a little tabletop action. Give us a nice stretch in our shoulders. And so you just want to begin by lifting your heart to the sky. That's going to be one of our best cues, right? Because we want to open our hearts and express freely. So we always want to open our heart to the sky. Gently drop your head back, preparing for the tabletop position. And when you do tabletop, you always want to make sure your fingertips are facing your back. If you lift up and your fingertips are facing the opposite direction, you're going to strain the front of your shoulders. And so when you drop your head, you want to do lion's breath. So take a deep breath in and exhale by letting your tongues flay out of your mouth like a lion and roar, opening up that chest, opening up your shoulders, giving you a nice front body stretch. And again, with each transition, you want to be gentle and easy. We're going to prepare for happy baby. So you want to grab the palms of your feet and just relax on back like a baby. And the point of happy baby is to get your tailbone as flush to the ground as possible. And so when you lift your legs back and you start to relax, the idea is that you want your knees to relax ever more deeply towards your mat or towards the ground, right? And that way you can feel your low back begin to even out and reach the ground, right? That's really how you get a nice stretch in your hamstrings. And then you can begin to alternate your feet. When you alternate your feet, this gives you a different angle to feel the stretch. Yep, you see you hit a different part of your thigh. You're getting the outer thigh instead of your inner thigh, right? And when you're in your traditional happy baby stance or your happy baby position, you get a stretch in your hamstrings, but sometimes you also feel a stretch in your inner thighs, right? Right where your hip points are, your inner hips. And we're going to come into Supta Baddha Konasana, feet together, knees out wide, making sure your low back is flush to the ground. And you should feel this stretch in the top of your hips and in the top of your quads. And you want to gently roll over to your right. And you're going to stack your legs in this position that you see here. I really don't know the name of it, but the reason why we're doing this is so we can get a nice deep stretch at the top of our femur, right where that bone goes into the hip socket. And so you can see, you try to keep your pelvis in alignment. The same way you want to keep your shoulders parallel and straight to one another. You see my shoulders are in alignment and my hips are in alignment, and that's how you receive that deeper stretch. You can engage your glute to give you a more intense stretch in the front of your groin, the front of that thigh area. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, and always gently transition into your next position, taking the breath with you. And so the same thing, you can see the front of my quad, and that's where we're getting that deep stretch. You can tuck your pelvis under you, and that'll again give you a deeper stretch in the front of your hip. This is a nice stretch for your lower 3 chakras, really opening up the lower half of your body. Sit up nice and straight, making sure those shoulders are in alignment with one another. Your shoulder blades should be able to make a straight line if I ran my hand or my finger across your back. And next, we're going to come into half pigeon on the right. And so for half pigeon, you want to make sure your shin is parallel to the front of your mat, that your hips are square to the front of your mat, and so that you're pretty much making a box with your body. Everything is in alignment. And before you really sit down in that position and get comfortable, just make sure everything is in alignment. And you want to feel this on your outer right thigh, right? Your outer right thigh into the top of your glute is where you're going to feel half pigeon on the right. And so you want to ease yourself closer to the ground. And when you're ready, you can come onto your elbows and just continue to breathe. Making sure, again, your shoulders are always in alignment. Allow the crown of your head to relax to the wall in front of you, sending that energy directly from your hips, straight up through your spine, out of your crown, back into your body. You want to gently come up, always being smooth and intentional, taking your breath with you. And you want to come into down dog, lift your tailbone to the sky, pedal out that right leg, shake it out if you need to, and the same thing on your left leg. You're going to bring that left leg up. You're going to make sure you are in alignment by coming from hip to knee to ankle, and making sure that entire left shin is as closely parallel to the front of your mat as possible. And when you're ready, you can gently come down onto your elbows, allowing you to get a little bit deeper into the stretch because you are not struggling to support yourself up. you want to roll off onto your butt and bring that left leg in front of you. And you want to see how I'm rocking back and forth. Make sure you're sitting directly on your sit bones, right? And to feel that motion, you just kind of rock back and forth. Make sure you're hitting those bone points. And next we're going to get into double pigeon, right? And the same thing, you always want everything in alignment. So you want hip to knee, knee to ankle, right? And you want your shins parallel to one another, creating a box. And you want to make sure, the reason why we make sure our hip bones are right up under us is because your right leg that is on top, you should feel this stretch on the side of your thigh, opening up that quad and the back of your glutes. And you want to make sure you sit up straight, using your wrists as anchors to get deeper into the stretch. And if you want to get deeper into the stretch, you can always place your hands directly in front of you and continue to walk them out in front of you. And that'll continue to stretch your lower back into the back of your glutes. And you want to rotate over and allow your right foot to be completely flat on the mat or the ground, and then wiggle walk it in front of you. And then we're just going to do the other leg. And again, as you transition into each position, take your breath with you. And you see how there's space in between that left knee and my left ankle. As I continue to exhale and relax, I am going to allow that knee to melt closer and closer to the earth. And that's how you get a deeper stretch. Continue to breathe. Use your breath as medicine. So any place in the body where you feel tension or stretch or stress as you get deeper into the stretch, allow your inhale to send your breath directly to that sensation. That's the medicine. And as you exhale, that's the cure, right? And so you want to stay in each stretch position until the sensation is gone by 50% or until it is completely gone, right, family? And so now we're going to do a little pyramid pose so we can get a nice stretch in our upper body and our thoracic cavity. You see how I'm pointing to my glute? You want to make sure that glute stays on the ground as much as possible. And you saw how I lifted it up, but when it's time to stretch, I put that glute back on the ground. And now I'm using my glute and my knee as an anchor to bring my shoulders into alignment, right? Because the more aligned, the more straight of a line I can bring my shoulders, the deeper I can feel into the stretch. And you're going to gently release. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. You're going to tuck your right leg under you, your left leg over. And again, same thing. That left glute might come off the ground, but as soon as you rotate, firmly press that sit bone back into the ground because you're going to use that as an anchor to help you rotate. And continue to breathe and be present in the stretch. Gently release. And now you want to come up into a wide leg forward fold. And the same thing here, family. Anytime you're folding, you always want to fold or hinge from your hips. You want to keep your back as flat and straight as possible, making sure your air and energy can flow easily up and down your spine. And so in this stretch, you can walk your hands up or you can walk them under you. And I'm going to be taking the approach with each exhale. I'm going to be walking my hands under me, or at least walking my upper body under my lower body. That way I can get a deeper stretch closer to the top of my femur bone where it actually goes into my hip socket. That's the part that I'm trying to stretch. But while you're in this position, family, get curious as to where you can adjust, where you can shift to get a deeper or different stretch in your hips. And you want to place your hands out on your hips and gently come up, wiggle walking your feet together, and gently come down into a ragdoll position, a forward fold, until you can grab opposite elbows or interlace your fingers behind your knees. And you want to release your hands, press into your feet, and gently lift up vertebrae by vertebrae. Gently rise up, taking your breath with you, extending your arms overhead for a nice, good rising stretch. And gently come down. And you can walk your hands out in front of you. And you want to place your hands in your back pockets as we get ready for, I can't think of the name of this position, but it's the chest opener, camel. That's it, camel, family. We're in camel. You want to press the two hip points in front of you and allow your elbows to drop towards your mat and open your chest and simply breathe. Don't panic, just breathe. And as you come up, come slowly and allowing your head to be the last thing that comes to the front of your body. Same way that we lifted, that we peeled off of the ground vertebrae by vertebrae is how the same way you come out of camel. And now that we're finished with camel, you're going to gently lay on your back for Shavasana and just relax. Call all of your energy back to you. And allow yourself to feel all of the space that you just created in your body. Gently bring movement back into your fingertips and toes. And when you're ready, gently roll over to your right and lay in the fetal position. Take this moment to thank yourself for creating the opportunity to go deeper within. Allow any care, challenge, or worry to be left right here, right now, on this mat. For there is no more work to be done. All that there is left to do is to be. So be. And so when you're ready, gently press yourself up into an easy seat and get ready for the world. All right, family, I hope you enjoyed this stretch. Until next time, I love you. Peace out.